The main pool at Serenity Bay Resort shimmered under the late afternoon sun like a sheet of silver. Beneath a cream-colored umbrella, a black man in his 40s sat quietly on a lounge chair, dressed in a plain black t-shirt and khaki shorts, holding a book titled Synthetic Minds: Consciousness in Artificial Intelligence. His eyes weren't on the pool, nor on anyone around him. They were locked on the words as if the pages were speaking directly to him. His name was Dr. Elijah Brooks, but no one here knew that. With his simple appearance and no visible signs of wealth, no Rolex watch, no iPad, no cocktail glass, he looked like a stranger who had wandered into a space not meant for him. Let's see what's about to unfold. Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the unexpected and dramatic turns coming next. A sharp pair of eyes from across the pool fixed on Elijah. Rebecca Langford, the villa manager, strode briskly down the white stone walkway lined with palms. Beside her was Kyle Monroe, head of resort security, his hand resting on his radio as if he'd just received an urgent alert. Elijah Brooks? No, they didn't ask for his name. Instead, Rebecca spoke first, her voice sharp as a blade. "Excuse me, sir, this pool area is for VIP guests staying in the villas. You're sitting in a restricted zone." Elijah looked up from his book, squinting slightly, as if the sunlight was more irritating than her words. He closed the book, folded the corner of page 119, and looked at Rebecca. "Understand," he said calmly. "I'm staying here." Kyle stepped in. "Sir, could I see your guest card or a QR code confirmation? Or maybe your name, so we can check our records?" Elijah didn't move. "No, thank you. I don't believe that's necessary." His answer made Rebecca raise an eyebrow. "I'm sorry, but we can't allow an unidentified individual to use the pool. We have strict regulations to protect our guests' privacy and safety." Elijah nodded, tapping his fingers lightly on the armrest. "I'm familiar with the concept of safety," he replied. "I design it every day." Kyle reached for his radio. A few guests began to take notice. An elderly woman paused her Sudoku. A young boy stopped splashing in the water. The air suddenly felt as heavy as stone. Rebecca folded her arms, stepping closer. "If you can't provide proof that you're a VIP guest, I'll have to ask you to leave. Our resort does not tolerate unauthorized access." Elijah gave a faint smile. No anger, no provocation, just a calmness so unusual that it made Rebecca take a subtle step back. "I'm not trespassing," he said. "I'm simply sitting by a pool I helped design." Silence. Absolute. Kyle furrowed his brow, his finger hesitating over the radio. Rebecca frowned. "Design?" Elijah reopened his book, his voice steady. "Yes, and this is only the first chapter." The static crackle of a radio echoed from Kyle's belt, but no one spoke. The entire pool area seemed frozen in that moment. The eyes of vacationers, staff members, even the cocktail server, all drawn toward the black man seated on the lounge chair. Rebecca tightened her grip on her clipboard, speaking deliberately, as if each word were a hammer striking down. "Whether you designed it or not, you still have to follow resort policy. We have a clear VIP guest list, and I've never seen your name on it." Elijah looked up, the sunlight reflecting off his tinted sunglasses, making his eyes almost unreadable. "My name is Elijah Brooks," he said, his voice soft as a breeze, yet carrying clearly in the surrounding silence. Kyle blinked. "Wait, Elijah Brooks? Isn't that?" Rebecca cut in. "That doesn't matter. There are plenty of people with that name. I need confirmation." She signaled to Kyle, and he immediately pulled out his phone, accessing the resort's internal system. "There's no booking under the name Elijah Brooks in the villas or Sky Suites," he said after a few seconds. "And he's not on the pool access list for today, either." Rebecca lowered her voice slightly, but still loud enough for everyone to hear. "Well, that makes it clear. You're using the VIP area without authorization. This is a security violation." Elijah didn't respond immediately. He set his book down on the side table and reached into his pocket for his phone. Every movement was slow, calculated, as if he were weighing each breath. "Who are you calling?" Kyle asked, stepping forward, his hand lightly touching his radio. "My assistant," Elijah replied. "She can send over the verification documents and, if necessary, the design patents for this pool surveillance system." Rebecca let out a short laugh, the kind meant to belittle. "Seriously? You expect us to believe that someone with no reservation record, carrying nothing but a phone and a book, is the one who built this system?" Elijah simply shrugged. "Whether you believe it or not is your choice. But I'd suggest caution. Some truths don't need to be believed, just verified." A loud ping came from Kyle's phone. A message from the Central Security Network. "Dr. Elijah Brooks, proprietary license holder of R9 Technology. Full access to all secured areas." Kyle stared, stunned. Rebecca snatched the phone and read it aloud. The crowd began murmuring. A woman whispered, "That's the guy who designed the security robots for the entire resort." A middle-aged man spoke up. "I saw him on a TED Talk about ethics in artificial intelligence." Rebecca turned pale. She looked at Elijah. "You really Dr. Brooks?" Elijah smiled, nodding slightly. "Now you understand. Every camera system, motion sensor, fingerprint scanner here, all run on neural core technology, my technology." He bent down, picked up his book again. "And today, I just wanted to finish a chapter by the pool." Rebecca took a step back. In an instant, all the confidence that usually filled her eyes vanished, replaced by a mix of confusion and rising panic. She looked at Kyle, as if waiting for him to confirm that this was just some bizarre prank. But Kyle, his face pale, remained locked on the screen of his phone. "Elijah Brooks," he murmured, "CEO of Neural Core Robotics. PhD from MIT, machine ethics expert." He swallowed hard. A young server nearby suddenly spoke up, his voice shaking. "I studied artificial intelligence in college. Our syllabus included videos of him lecturing about emotional response in robots." Elijah didn't stand. He simply reached for his phone and quickly dialed a number. "Lisa, send me the R9 technical documentation and level 8 internal access credentials for Serenity Bay immediately. Oh, and ask PR to pull footage from the West Pool camera. I believe we'll want a full record of this interaction." Rebecca reacted instantly. "Wait, what are you trying to do?" Elijah glanced at her, "Just making sure everything's documented accurately. It seems some people here need a refresher on the difference between management and bias." Another staff member, Daniel from the resort's tech division, had overheard the call and came running. "Dr. Brooks, sir, I'm the AI infrastructure coordinator here. I wasn't aware anything was going on, but if you need anything from the system..." Rebecca cut him off. "Daniel, this doesn't concern you, I can." Daniel raised his hand. "I'm sorry, Ms. Langford. I've signed an NDA with Neural Core. Any matters involving Dr. Brooks fall under direct priority access." At that moment, a silver-haired man in a crisp white silk shirt and tailored slacks entered through the north gate. Charles Hargrove, chairman of the Serenity Bay Resort Board. His eyes landed on Elijah instantly, and in that split second, the pride on Charles's face turned into something else entirely: concern. "Elijah," he said, his voice stripped of its usual arrogance, "I didn't know you were here. If we had known, Elijah cut him off, still staring at Rebecca. "If you had known who I was, people would have behaved differently." Charles fell silent. "And what about when you didn't know?" Elijah continued, his voice sharp but steady. "When I was just a black man in a t-shirt, reading by the pool. What did you see then?" No one answered. No one dared. Behind Charles, a small crowd had begun to gather, phones quietly raised to record. Someone whispered, "This is going to blow up online." Rebecca stammered, I was just following security protocol. If you felt insulted, then Elijah looked straight at her, and for the first time, the softness in his eyes was gone. "You didn't insult me because I'm Elijah Brooks. You insulted me because you believed I couldn't possibly be someone." And that, he said, voice steady and unshakable, is the real problem. Elijah rose to his feet, slowly, calmly, like a general who didn't need to draw a sword to command silence across the battlefield. From his shirt pocket, he pulled out a titanium access card, its silver edge catching the glow of the setting sun. Etched across the surface, Neural Core Robotics, Founding Architect Access, Serenity Bay Infrastructure ID, EB001. At that exact moment, Daniel's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, eyes widening. "Oh God, what is it?" Charles asked urgently. Daniel swallowed hard. "The security cameras have just been rerouted to headquarters. Neural Core issued the override. They're live streaming this entire incident to the legal department." Rebecca went pale. Elijah turned to Kyle. "I don't blame you. You were following orders. But now, I need you to follow a different one." Kyle hesitated, then nodded. "Revoke access privileges for all resort management personnel," Elijah instructed. "Activate internal conduct audit protocol, and forward a full transcript of this exchange to human resources." Kyle lifted his radio. "Control, this is Monroe. Authorization code EB001 confirmed. Requesting initiation of priority audit protocol. I repeat, priority." A voice crackled back over the line. "Protocol confirmed. Internal behavioral audit now active." Every employee present at the pool instantly received a notification on their smartwatches. "Conduct audit in progress. All verbal and behavioral activity will be recorded for the next 3 hours." A wave of stunned disbelief spread across the pool deck like a domino effect. Guests began gathering. Some started live streaming. The hashtag Elijah Brooks popped up on social media feeds in real time. Rebecca struggled to keep her composure. "You don't need to go this far. I was just doing your job." Elijah interrupted, his voice cool as steel. "Or just applying your bias, dressed up as policy?" The question cut through the air like a blade to the throat. Charles jumped in quickly, flustered. "I promise, Elijah, we'll handle this internally. We'll issue a formal apology, schedule a press statement if needed." Elijah turned, facing the entire crowd. A breeze rustled through the air, flipping the pages of the book he had left on the side table. He said nothing for a moment, only looked deeply into the eyes of those watching. Then he spoke. "I didn't come here to make a scene. I came here to rest. I spent 7 years designing the AI system that made this the smartest resort in North America, only to be kicked out of the very pool I helped build because I didn't look like someone who belonged." Silence fell again. "But today," Elijah continued, his voice echoing like a wave across water, "this is no longer just about me and Ms. Rebecca. This is about a system, one that quietly allows discrimination to thrive until someone finally stands up and asks, why?" It started with a housekeeping staff member, then an IT engineer, then a group of college students on a seminar tour nearby. The applause spread slowly at first, then like a dam breaking. Elijah didn't smile. He simply nodded, then quietly sat back down on his lounge chair. The book flipped back to page 120. The breeze had settled. The pool was calm again, as if it had never known disturbance. More than 2 hours after the confrontation, Serenity Bay Resorts management had entered crisis mode. Not because of fire, not because of a physical security breach, but because a 3-minute video capturing the poolside incident was exploding across national social media. The video was tagged, "Red Circle, Black CEO harassed at his own resort pool. Watch what happens next." Within 20 minutes, the hashtag Dr. Brooks was right climbed into Twitter's top 5 trending topics. News outlets like CNN, MSNBC, and Vox had already picked up the story. A viral tweet by renowned tech journalist Kayla Monroe read, "If you're going to kick a black man in a t-shirt out of a pool, make sure it's not the guy who designed the AI system that protects your resort." Back in the executive offices, Rebecca Langford had collapsed into a chair, pale and shaking as she read the email from legal. Suspended, effective immediately. Internal hearing scheduled for tomorrow morning. Refrain from media contact. Her phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Threats. Hate messages. DMs from old acquaintances, some calling her a high-tech Karen. Others simply typing 3 cold words. You deserve this. In the engineering wing, Kyle was drafting his incident report. His hands trembled as he signed it. Dr. Brooks hadn't demanded anyone be fired. But Kyle knew. Every word he spoke, and worse, every word he didn't, was now under review. Meanwhile, in the grand lobby, Charles Hardgrove was on the phone with the resort's investor board. We had no idea he was here. There was no reservation in his name. I understand. Yes, I'll apologize to Elijah personally. No, I don't think he's pressing charges. Not yet. Every word he spoke felt soaked in sweat. Another email popped onto his screen. Neural Core is placing the R10 upgrade contract with Serenity Bay on hold, pending an internal ethics review. A $2.8 million project. And this was just the beginning. Back near the spa, guests who had witnessed the incident were buzzing with chatter. Some were checking out early. Others, quietly and awkwardly, returned to the pool to apologize, some with trembling voices, some in tears. One young bartender from the automated drink station whispered to his coworker, "He gave my sister a scholarship once." His name's still on the university's donor wall. And Elijah? He was still there. Phone set aside. Book opened to page 120. Everything that had happened didn't seem to unsettle him. It only made him quieter, deeper. As the sun began to dip behind the western mountains, a figure approached him. The CEO of the resort's management company. Dr. Brooks, the man said, his voice trembling. "I'm here to apologize." Elijah didn't look up. "It's not me who needs the apology," he said calmly. "It's this community, from the system that allowed this to happen." He finally looked up, eyes locking with the CEO's for the first time. "You built this place to be smart," Elijah said. "But smart doesn't mean fair. No algorithm is naturally just, not when it's programmed by people who carry bias." Elijah Brooks remained in his seat. Synthetic minds lay closed on his lap, and his eyes drifted across the still water, as if searching memory's reflection. He didn't need revenge. He didn't need anyone to kneel and apologize. What he needed was awareness. Awareness that no one should need a title or wealth to be treated with dignity. That no AI, no matter how advanced, can undo unconscious bias, unless the people who build and use it are willing to confront it themselves. His phone buzzed softly. A message from his daughter. "Dad, you're trending on TikTok. But to me, you've always been a hero." Elijah smiled. Then he rose, slowly walking away from the pool, leaving behind not just a confrontation, but a lesson that would echo long after the ripples faded. If you were standing there at the pool that day, would you have stayed silent? Or would you have spoken up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And thank you for staying with us until the very end.